The Titans win the AFC South, and everybody starts making changes. Good afternoon. I am Joe Honk. Just announced a few moments ago, the Houston Texans have fired David Culley after a 4-13 season. This is coming just days after they gave him the wonderful vote of confidence. And the Colts, well, their general manager, Chris Ballard, had a press conference earlier today, and he wasn't fully committed on Carson Wentz as the starter for the 2022 season. He said, I would like to quit band-aiding the quarterback position. I'd like for Carson to either be the long-term answer or for us to find somebody that will be. By the way, last night's Hard Knocks, legit funny. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols. The flagship station for the number one seed in the AFC. That would be your Tennessee Titans and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome in 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. Happy Thursday to you. Dawn Davenport here, not in the building. And Brent Doherty's still off, but hey, that guy's here. Ron Slay.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
I like it.
Yes.
Slay, dog. How are you on this Thursday?
I'm good, Babsy. I'm rocking and rolling, man. Ready to get this thing cranked up, get it started. And guess what, man?
What?
Did you watch Hard Knocks last night?
No. So I'm so annoyed. So I had volleyball, which, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How'd it go?
Yeah, we won. We made it to the championship game next week, and your girl can't walk now. I jacked up my knee. I went all in, played like I was 20 years old again, and now I cannot walk, and I don't know what I did. And I think I might have to go get my knee checked. So let me ask you this. Before we jump into Hard Knocks, can you have a torn ACL, but still be able to walk and move on it?
Yeah. You actually
what
can.
does that feel like? I'm scared that I tore my ACL and I don't realize it.
Babs, that ain't good.
It can't. Every time I walk, it catches.
Yeah. Ooh. It's like a little click.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's probably the same thing you told me that it was wrong with my knee. You got something floating around.
Meniscus.
Yeah, you got something floating around in there. Exactly. Man, but guess what? People have rehab and not get the surgery. Yeah, people get rehab all the time and don't get the surgery right away and just, get it back strong. So you could do that.
Well, I got championships next week. So we'll deal with it after that.
Oh, you got to wrap it up. Yeah.
Yep. We got ice it and tape it and go. That's how we roll around here. That's just like the Titans did all season long. Wrap it up, tape it, visit IR, and let's go.
Nobody wants to hear about your cries and your whys.
So speaking of the cries and the whys, fill me in. So all that to say, I had volleyball last night. I forgot to record Hard Knocks. So I missed it. And so I saw kind of people tweeting about it and bits and pieces. It had to be the highest viewership of Hard Knocks all season long. Unbelievable high ratings, I'm sure.
Everybody was watching. So I actually went into it thinking that, man, I want to hear what was it leading up to it. Honestly, Babs, I think they talked their way up on this loss. I think they actually talked their way up on the loss. All you kept hearing from the coaches was, don't take this game lightly. Man, if we don't punch, they're going to punch us back and we're going to be knocked out. We could really go down there and lose this game. We ain't won since whatever it was, 2008, 14, whatever it is.
14.
They man, I'm telling you, if we don't take this team serious, we will go down there and we will lose. I'm like, dude, why y'all having this type of conversation? And then everything was let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to our fundamentals. Yeah, and we'll win. I'm telling you, if we get to the basics and the fundamentals, we'll win. Man, they went down there and got routed. And during the game, everybody was saying, dude, what are we doing, man? Come on, y'all. We got to play. We got to make plays. We got to do this. We got to do that. They were out of it. I think that Raiders game really knocked the spunk out of them, losing at home like that. So, God. And then at the end, Babs, when they had his speech, Frank Reich had his speech, it was kind of like, dude, why are you up here talking? Like, it's over with.
That's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, Coach wouldn't have been given that speech if the Hard Knock cameras weren't sitting right there, right? There's no way in hell, because I saw bits and pieces of that speech that people like put out, and there's no way he delivers it like that. At the end, right?
No.
Could you imagine Mike Vrabel in that? Like, I mean, we like to go hypothetical around here. Actually, no, we don't. No, I freaking hate hypothetical, but whatever. So could you imagine Mike Vrabel after that scenario, and if that was his team that did what the Colts did? There is no way in HE double hockey stick that Mike Vrabel would have delivered a speech like that.
No, y'all sucked. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, if the calendars wasn't around, if the cameras wasn't around, I think the players would have looked at him like, no, coach, man, we tricked this off. Like, it ain't no we climbing up the mountain, this part of the journey. He said, from now on, guys, we're going to have a scab and we're going to have a wound on our soul for the rest of our NFL playing and coaching lives.
Wow.
And one day you're going to be able to look at that wound and say, I remember that. But we got to keep on. I'm like, dude, hey, man, get me out of here, man. When the players walked out, it was only a couple of them that went up to him and dapped him up. And, they was like, nah, this over with, man. It was over. And the funny thing, Babs, like, I was growing to like guys like, what's the linebacker name? Man, the headhunter.
Darius Leonard.
Like, I love him, the passion and everything.
Did you watch? You watched the whole season, didn't
you? So I watched the last three.
You and Hunk.
Yeah, okay. I watched the last three. I started picking up on it. Like, man, let me check this out. But I was loving him. But after that, it was nothing in my body that I could pull back and say, hey, man, this is hilarious. I love how these people quivering and can't, like, this season is over. Like, all the Pro Bowls, all the MVP talk, all that is over. You could just see it on their faces. Like, man, that was beautiful. As a Titans fan, that was beautiful. I'm gonna tell you that right
now. I'm sad I missed it, but there's been some good feedback from Titans fans, that's for sure. All right, so what do we have today? We have Greg Cosell coming up, which is awesome. So we'll kind of break down that Texans game, maybe get Cosell's, I don't know, take on some of the games this weekend, what the tape shows on who could be possible Titans opponents. Now, you want to talk about hypotheticals. That is the last thing Greg Cosell
without question.
Deals in. He is, show me the tape. I'll tell you what it says and what it shows. And that's the end of our conversation. But we'll push him kind of on maybe just in watching the tape, what is the best matchup for the Titans in their first playoff game, as we watch kind of all of those games this weekend. So that's at what, 4:15, I think, 4:20. Yep. So Cosell at 4:15, 4:20. You heard the news from Hunk earlier. David Culley let go by the Houston Texans. I really thought he was going to make it. I thought he was going to make the cut there, and that they, especially for what he did, that team, I'm sorry, but I think it's saying a lot. What he walked into with that Shiano show of a roster and everything that was going on there with what they gave him and said, hey, here's your roster. Here you go. Enjoy. Like, that team was still freaking playing at the end of the year. That team didn't give up in the last game of the season that meant absolutely nothing against the Titans. And that team came out and still played. Now, come fourth quarter, the Titans kind of squashed them and finished them off. But that wasn't a team that gave up at all or gave in. That's a testament to David Culley and what he was able to establish in his time there with just a mess of a roster.
Yeah, without question. Like, that's the same team that beat the Chargers, like, and pounding them. So you look at them, and he was also a guy, man. If you look at changing the culture in the locker room when it was in disarray, like that's honestly how we got Zach Cunningham. Like him putting his foot down and saying, "Hey, man, this is the way we're gonna do things. You ain't with it. You got to roll, man."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you for doing that, David Culley. But I mean,
that's a nice little addition for the Titans. That's
we'll
all
take
right.
that parting gift. Yeah. So, but yeah,
No
man,
problem.
I'm surprised too. And they fired the OC as well. So it's interesting to see what they're going to make happen down there in Houston.
Man, I look at some of the jobs that are open in the NFL, and I know it's the NFL, but God, if I'm looking for my first head coaching gig in the NFL, man, I don't know if I want it to be some of these jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's not a lot of them, and your opportunities certainly don't come often, but good Lord, some of them are an absolute debacle and a mess. And I don't know if I would want to step in there. And here's the deal. At the end of the day, you are a successful NFL team if you have a successful quarterback.
Right.
Period. It is what it is. The game is your success is contingent upon your quarterback, if you have a good quarterback or not. And you can talk about all the weapons around and the offensive line and all of that, but if you have a garbage quarterback, you're gonna have a garbage team. And that's the end of it. So that leads us to, of course, the Ryan Tannehill conversation, which Slade, we talked about yesterday.
Yes.
We brought up a bunch of Tannehill, and you feel good with where he is right now? Him talking about he never lost his mojo, all of that. We've talked all season long about the disrespect that people kind of lay on Ryan Tannehill's name, and almost people still just remember him in his days in Miami and don't realize what he is truly capable of now. That's capable of with people around him, with talent around him. And we addressed that yesterday too. So it's interesting. Hunk sent us this, and I actually gave stats yesterday from Seth Walder, who works for ESPN in their analytics department. And, I talked about how much ESPN puts into analytics, and they hire just strictly number data people and pay attention to it. But they put out an article ranking the NFL playoff quarterbacks, strengths, weaknesses, what is at stake for all 14 quarterbacks in the field for 2021 for these playoffs. And it's interesting. So we're going to jump into that list.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about where Ryan Tannehill is on that list. Now, they went like stats, rankings, total QBR is what they went to. But after the break, we'll explain exactly what they pulled from and where Ryan Tannehill is on that list. It's interesting. Kind of puts into our conversation, doesn't it? And this is all data.
Yeah, and we want we want the listeners to even weigh in on this. Like if you think you know where Tannehill is, hit us up on the YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch.
Oh, yeah, we're on all those. Twitch, please.
Yeah, there you go. So
615-737-1045 is the phone number. Jump in. Hunk will put you on hold. Get ready. We'll introduce kind of this list and go through what they use to rank these quarterbacks. I will say this. Seth Walder put in his piece, we are considering these quarterbacks in a vacuum. So you do not take into account what wide receiver they have, what running back they have, none of that. This is quarterback in a vacuum. We're assuming that every single one of their weapons is equal.
Right.
That's what this list is. That's coming up next right here on 3HL 1045 The Zone. Stick around.
What up, people? You know who it is. It's me, Ron Slade. Listen to me very carefully because the weekend is arriving and you need to get everything you need to get equipped to entertain people. And if you ain't got nobody to entertain, you can entertain yourself. That's always good company right there, especially when you got things from Red Dog Wine and Spirits, people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Riverside Drive in Franklin, Tennessee, next to Publix of Highway 96. They always take care of me, and they'll take care of you too. Reason being, they got 20 years of expertise over there in their staff. So you can walk in, ask the people, listen, you think I can try this bottle right here? I know that sounds weird, but not at Red Dog Wine and Spirits, because they got to try before you buy. That's their slogan. Take it up there to the bar. They'll pour you a drink, test it out. You don't like it? Tell them what you're looking for. They'll go and find it. I promise you. That's what they do. You can also go on reddogwineandspirits.com and get them to pick it out for you. And guess what? You can pull up and they'll put it in your trunk. When you go in the building, make sure you say, I'm in the building. Red Dog got you.
Got to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle. And that's where you can go to get your car, truck, SUV, or Jeep. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned, either way, these guys are going to be able to help you, and help you they will. I sounded like Yoda there, but that's what they're going to do for you. They're going to get you in the vehicle that's right for you. And they don't have to use the force. They can just talk with you, answer your questions, and figure out what car, truck, SUV, or Jeep is right for you and your lifestyle. That's the goal. So go take your test drive. Ask your questions. You'll go inside. They'll help make the numbers work. It'll be that easy. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. About 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. 24 west to exit 35. And that's a straight shot. Check them out. GuptonMotors.com, the website. You'll see the entire inventory there. All of the dealership information is there as well. That's GuptonMotors.com. Check them out. That's Gupton, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Welcome back in 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. Dawn Davenport alongside Ron Slay.
Yes.
Yes, and Joe Hunk is behind the glass for us, making everything run. Brent Doherty still on IR, still no voice. You know how that goes. This happens at least once a year for our guy. And so we are just holding it down here this week. Although I will say, Titans have a bye. It's a good week for him to be on IR, get healthy, come on back. Here we go. This is exactly what the Titans are doing. Some light work today, I think, was their schedule. And I heard Teresa Walker talking earlier with Blaine and Mickey about Derrick Henry, talking about how he looks like he's moving just a little bit faster this week than maybe he was last week. And it made me think about what Roger Saffold told us on Tuesday when we asked about just Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry's process and kind of progress. And he said, you know, we clearly, you don't want to push him to get ready or hop in faster than, you know, his foot allows or than his body allows. So you want to be careful. And that kind of stood out to me, especially then you hear Teresa Walker talking about how he looks like he's a little bit faster this week, like easing him back in, right?
Yep.
As they get ready and get healthy this week and find out who their opponent is going to be. So,
and you know what, Babs, before we go further into the quarterbacks and just speaking on Derrick Henry, one thing also about this injury, and you know this, Babs, like when you're sitting out with injuries, you get a different perspective of what's exactly going on in the game. Like I always speak from this perspective when I'm talking about being a sixth man, which I was a lot in my career. And I loved it, relished in it, because you get to watch the game and see exactly what the game is missing and what you can bring to it, what you can. And then when you watch film, you watch and say, man, I could have did this different when I came into the game. So now you remove him from a team that's still winning and was able to plug and go. And he look at it and think, this is already a machine, first of all, in Derrick Henry. Now he's looking at the game as, man, what if I took this step instead of that step? Or you know what I'm saying? Like he just get to dissect himself over and over. Like he could hit
me on that a little bit, because that's an interesting point you bring up, because you think Derrick Henry and you think that position and you think like that guy, you know, is next level, like sitting back and watching and taking in the game on the side. Like that's not going to help him. But you forget how important that is when it doesn't happen often, because you look back at Derrick Henry in college and he was able to do that because he always split carries at Alabama, right?
Yep, exactly.
So you're able to kind of watch and let it all sink in, you know, obviously kind of a different story, different feel in the NFL. So that's a great point you bring up too, that sometimes it gives you a chance and some time to digest your profession and how you do things even a little bit more. So that's interesting. I mean, because you battled some injuries in your career.
Yeah, without question. And that's what worries you about guys that have reached a certain point in their playing career, and they're always like, man, I need another challenge. Yeah. But they never get the opportunity to step back from it and still have their peak condition and everything. They step back from the game and watch it. Like when Michael Jordan left, you know what I'm saying? He was able to step back from the game and think. Now his body did change. Derrick Henry not necessarily going to change right now, but he was able to look at the game and see. I guarantee when he watched the game, he was like, "Oh man, these boys, I can do this without doing two dribbles. Like I can score without two dribbles." That's why when he came back, his game was all the way changed. So Derrick Henry, we heard Saffold talk about instincts.
Yep. And
instincts being able to take over. So imagine those instincts when he's been playing for 2 years at the highest of the high, running people over, bruising them. He's never really been able to dissect this game, what he's been missing, because it's working. Like, this is the time when you get to play tricks with your mind and you get to challenge yourself when you're away from the game, and you know it's something that you can get back to. So now when he coming in, man, it's quicker. Maybe that's why he looks like you heard Blaine talking about it. He looks leaner now. Maybe that's why he looks leaner. Maybe he was like, man, if I get if I lose a little bit more, then maybe I can have a different type of burst, a different step here. Instinctively, if I go to the line, I guarantee he's watched a ton of films along with watching the Titans. And I wouldn't be surprised if he went back and started watching other running backs that had success. You know what I'm saying? Like big backs, like when Sappho was talking about Steven Jackson and Eric Dickerson and Jim Brown. Like, I know this may be extreme, but man, people at that level, they do extreme things and they do things outside of the box to kind of keep that fire lit. So this guy could be different coming back, man. I promise. That's what we need. That's what we need.
All right. Hey, let's switch to the quarterback conversation now. And we talked a lot about Ryan Tannehill yesterday and actually, I mean, all season about the disrespect and all of this. So if you want to go ahead and get in on the line, 615-737-1045. We are talking quarterbacks, and Seth Walder at ESPN wrote a piece and took the 14 quarterbacks and basically ranked them heading into the playoffs, like what 1 through 14, and what was most important, or what this run kind of means for each of them. And just to point out, I said it before the break, but he's considering these quarterbacks in a vacuum. So they all have the same opponent, they all have the same weapons, blah, 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 right? Total QBR, this is what factors into his, along with judgment, but what factors into what he utilized to rank these quarterbacks. And total QBR, which is ESPN's expected points added based rate stat, which evaluates efficiency, and it does it with completion percentage and completion percentage over expectation. And I could go on, and you don't really care, but you get my point, right? There's a whole lot of words and blah, yada, 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 that goes into what he utilized stats wise for these 14 quarterbacks. So I thought about it. We were talking right before the show, Slay, and I said, okay, there's 14 quarterbacks in the playoffs. So I'm like going in my head, I'm going over the 14 quarterbacks. So just to go ahead and tell everybody where Ryan Tannehill is ranked on this list, ninth out of the 14 playoff quarterbacks. So I started thinking about him, and I'm like, hold on. So let's get the obvious ones out, right?
Yep.
Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's obvious. Okay.
And in the ranking, those are 1, 2, and 3. Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady 2, A-Rod 3. Boom.
Wait, who's one?
Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
That's a shocker to me.
That was surprising to me, and it doesn't, like, youth doesn't play into this because he's strictly using numbers and stats, QBR, efficiency, completion percent, all of that. So the age thing does not factor into this at all. So that surprised me.
Ahead of 2 MVPs.
Over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Like
big time.
Oof.
So, by the way, we'll go through each of these and see what he put. But all of that to say, 1, 2, and 3, extremely obvious. And then I just started thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm not sure that I could come up with 6 other quarterbacks that I would think would rank higher and be in a better position than Ryan Tannehill. Of all the playoff teams, could you?
Nah, I'm gonna be real. No. Especially after seeing them play this year. No. And going into the playoffs, no, I could not.
So I'm going to go through. So maybe people are trying to rack their brain and remember every single playoff team, right? So I'm going to go through AFC playoff teams, NFC playoff teams. Obviously, AFC number 1, Titans, number 1 seed. Bye. And then it's Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Raiders, Pats, Steelers. NFC side, Packers 1, Bucks 2. Those are 2 of your top 3 quarterbacks on the list, right? Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Cowboys 3, Rams 4, Arizona, the Cards 5, Niners 6, Eagles 7.
Yep.
In those lists, besides Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, maybe Bengals, maybe Burrow, who stands out?
And
that is 6. I'm sorry. Name 6 that stand out more than Ryan Tannehill.
That's tough. Especially what everybody has to keep in mind. Bab said this is if all their pieces are right. So you got to keep that in mind. I cannot see. This is me. Joe Burrow, I understand.
Is it who's 4?
The actual list?
Yeah.
Actual list, Josh Allen is 4.
Okay.
Josh Allen is 4, people. And with that, a lot of that, his strength is his rushing. That's how dangerous he is with the legs. That's what they're going to roll with. Now, number 5 is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with them too. I'm okay with both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially everything.
I mean,
healthy.
I had to think about it, and part of that is, name, team, and
Right.
part of that is it's real hard to evaluate a quarterback outside of their weapons. That's just
Right.
hard to do because it makes such a difference, and that is very obvious with Ryan Tannehill. It's less obvious with guys like Rodgers and Brady and Mahomes. So I get it.
Okay. Now 6. 6 would be Kyler Murray. Now, in the beginning of the season, Kyler Murray was a MVP candidate and a strong MVP candidate. Let's see. Accuracy on his deep ball, accuracy and deep ball efficiency. His arm, as opposed to his rushing or scrambling, that did most of the damage this season. He threw deep often, 15% of the time, third most in the league. Simultaneously recorded the highest QBR on 20-plus air yard passes in the league. So he showed off his accuracy and he used his legs. So that's where you get him at 6. Now this right here is what. Do you agree with 6 though?
I'm okay.
It sounds like you got a little pushback.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
You know how whatever.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna necessarily come at you about 6, but okay.
Okay. All right. 7.
But there's two others that are ahead of Ryan Tannehill.
So 7 and 8, I think, is where the problem lies. 7 would be Dak Prescott. Dak is at 7. And you know what? I wouldn't have pushback on this if I didn't watch the Cowboys. But since
you watched a lot, right?
Yeah, since I watched the Cowboys and I watched them not be able to get it done, it seemed like to me Dak reverted back to like he was in the past before the ankle injury, putting up yards because they were coming from behind until the defense just came and just started playing phenomenal. And then he still, like, the defense still had to bail him out of games.
Yeah.
And I guess you can kind of say the same for Tannehill, but he didn't have his weapons. So this is with all the weapons involved, and Dak had his weapons and was still having to be bailed out, which I don't like. So,
I mean, I get you. You're coming back from a tough injury too. Like you have to. I get you have to put that in. I mean, you have to put that in perspective too.
Yeah, and that's fine.
QBR was 54.9.
Yeah. A step back from his last season where he was ranked 71.9. Like that's exactly.
So
exactly. So
just go to 8. Just go to 8 because 8 annoys me.
Just the one to get you, huh? Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is coming in at 8 and standing strong at 8. What you think about that? He subbed in for golf.
So
is it a difference in this team?
Well, here's the deal. So what he says, talking about the season or whatever, that, okay, well, Matthew Stafford through week 8 was tops in QBR, right? Number 1 QBR in the league. Well, guess what? The season doesn't end at week 8.
Right.
It doesn't. And this is a list for this season, right?
Yep.
I mean, it was a debacle from week 9 through week 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it was for him too. He ended the year tied for the league lead in interceptions.
That ain't good.
Because what do we talk about with Ryan Tannehill? Those couple of games where he didn't give his team a chance to win because he turned the ball over. So you're putting Matthew Stafford, who tied for the league lead in interceptions with Trevor Lawrence, by the way. Trevor Lawrence, like the 2-win Jag team, he tied with that guy, the rookie, in interceptions. And mind you, we're taking out who's around them, right? This is a vacuum. This is in a vacuum of evaluating these quarterbacks. And he led the league, or tied for the league lead in interceptions, but you're going to put him above Ryan Tannehill in the playoff quarterback rankings. I think that that's disrespectful. I don't agree with it. And this is what I read with Walder's strengths for Matthew Stafford. Production when the offense goes as planned.
That's anybody,
well, no,
right?
Shiano, Sherlock. Every quarterback should have production when the offense goes as planned. Who else has production when the offense goes as planned? Ryan Tannehill.
Exactly.
He's got production when everything goes as planned.
And that's an actual fact, like for sure.
Stafford ranked second in QBR when he wasn't pressured. Great. Guess what happens when you're in the NFL? You get pressured.
He wanted to play 7-on-7, maybe. Maybe that's
come on. And hey, if you want to take Ryan Tannehill's numbers away when he's pressured, I bet he's the best damn quarterback in the league.
Right.
I mean, come on. So I got an issue with that one. That one I have an issue with.
I like that. And I think if he lived up to expectations, I think this is totally different and this conversation isn't being had. But what he's done and what we're taking, I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with it either. Not when everybody's healthy.
We have to take a break, but we want your take on this list. Ryan Tannehill, 9th on the playoff quarterback ranking list. I'm hot and bothered by
fired up on this
Stafford. I know. And we will read what they said about Ryan Tannehill and why he is 9th on that list coming up after the break. But if you want to offer your opinion, what do you think? We'll also tell you who is after Ryan Tannehill on this list as well. 615-737-1045. Jump in the conversation. Hit us on Twitter at 3HL1045. Come see us on Zone TV, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of those things.
Twitch, please.
Yes, thank you. And we'll be back right after this break. Stick around. Matthew Stafford. Well, missing football on Thursdays, you can still turn every Thursday into payday. NBA on TNT on FanDuel Sportsbook. How about that? Find a new tradition for Thursdays. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel is going to give all customers, new and existing, $10 back every single Thursday. All you have to do, bet a $10 or more same game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. You know what today is, right? It's Thursday. Jump in on your FanDuel Sportsbook app. See what you want to bet. It's the perfect way to turn a small bet into a big time score. Same game parlays let you combine the money line, point spread. Maybe you want to go grab a player prop and more all into one wager. Perfect way to turn that small bet into a big one. Win or lose, you are guaranteed to get $10 added to your account. You know what I love about the FanDuel Sportsbook app? I love how easy it is. I just popped it up on my phone. Go click on NBA, all of my games, my bets, they're right there. And It's super easy to deposit money and easy to find your bet. When you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. $10 back every Thursday, win or lose. TNT Thursdays. New to FanDuel, sign up with promo code DAWN, DAWN. Make every moment more this NBA season. You do have to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit. Expires in 7 days. Max bonus $10. Restrictions apply. Terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
What up, people? You know who it is. It's me, Ron Slade, and I'm here to talk to you about the homeloanexpert.com. I sound like Ryan Kelly a little bit, don't I? Yep. But guess what? I'm not him. I'm Ron Slade. But Ryan Kelly is the one that can get you the 5-minute loan approval, only available at the homeloanexpert.com. You can refi your home, and a way you do that, the mortgage interest rates, this is what you will be pondering. Why are the mortgage interest rates still sitting at the all-time lows? But if you pay attention to it, it's starting to tick up. So if you've been sitting on the fence to get a refi, or if you haven't gotten your pre-approved home loan locked in, this right now is the time, people. Quit waiting for a lower rate, as they won't stick around much longer. Interest rates are still sitting in the low 2%, which means by refinancing your home, your 30-year mortgage, the home loan expert can save you hundreds of dollars a month. I'm telling you what I know. You better get and act fast. Get the 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. That's Ryan Kelly and thehomeloanexpert.com.
Welcome back in 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. Glad you are with us. Dawn Davenport, Ron Slay. Brent Doherty is off, still on the IR, and we are talking NFL football and quarterbacks. I mean, what else would you be talking about on a Thursday leading into the postseason? Let's go.
Right. That's right.
We want your take on it. We just went through ESPN's list of the 14 quarterbacks in the postseason ranked, and 1 through 8 did not include the Titans. The number 1 seed in the AFC didn't include their quarterback. Ryan Tannehill sitting at number 9. We've got some callers on the line, 615-737-1045. Get to you guys in 1 second. But before we do that, I wanted to read what was said about Ryan Tannehill. By the way, the quarterbacks after Tannehill, let me just go down that garbage list real quick. Starting at 10, Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, and 50-year-old Ben Roethlisberger. There you go. Those are the only quarterbacks ranked after Ryan Tannehill on this list. So, goodness. Okay, so Ryan Tannehill, let's hit strengths, okay? We'll hit strengths, and then we'll tell you what they put for weaknesses for Tannehill, okay? So strengths, running. Tannehill carried the ball 55 times for 270 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's it. But he was wildly efficient when he did run. Generated the 3rd most EPA among quarterbacks running the ball and ranked 1st among signal callers in EPA per rush. I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention his play action passing, though. Yeah, kind of a big key to what the Titans do. He ranks 2nd in QBR on those plays since 2019, but was only 6th this season. Still pretty impressive. Okay, here you go. Weaknesses. Sacks.
Now, see,
you heard me. You heard me correct.
But you know what, Babs? The only thing about that is this is if everything is intact for him.
Right.
When the offensive line is intact, they don't give up sacks like that on Tannehill, do they?
2 weeks ago was the first time they had this full, healthy offensive line intact.
Exactly.
2 weeks ago.
Exactly. So
first time
like
all
that.
year.
I don't like
it's
that.
been a revolving door. And Tannehill's he goes on to say Tannehill's sack rate has long plagued him, and the 8% sack rate he posted this season is right around his career average. In total, that's because he had garbage lines at the Dolphins for years.
Right.
28% of pressures against him turned into sacks, the 6th highest rate in the league. You could argue that maybe Tannehill should have gotten rid of the ball sometimes.
Yeah. A
little bit faster. You can argue that part of that was on his offensive line, but you could also argue that a large portion of that was, I think he was hoping that somebody would get open and nobody did because he didn't have his key guys, right? So you could also, I think, put that into the argument. And you could argue that there were some poor decisions made because I think he was hoping that somebody
gonna be open.
Could get open, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't think that's enough to bump him to 9th out of 14.
No, I'm gonna have to go back and look at Stafford too, because I'm Stafford and Dak, because I'm pretty sure them boys get sacked quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to jump in the conversation? 615-737-1045. Hey, Hunk, we are going to start with George on a cell. Hey, George, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. So I've been thinking about this a lot, especially with like the talk about the MVP of the league. And I'm not a fan of any of these guys, but there's nobody in the game, if it's a level playing field, that's on the same level as Tom Brady. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers should have got MVP last year, and I don't think he should get it this year, because if you go by stats, Brady's got him beat in every stat except for percentage completion this year, and he's 6 years older. But the way I got them ranked is I got Tom Brady at number 1. I got Aaron Rodgers at number 2. I got Patrick Mahomes at number 3. I got Matthew Stafford at number 4. I got Kyler Murray at number 5. And I got Tannehill at 6. And I stopped ranking them after that. And that's if you put them on a level playing field. They have the same offensive line. They got the same wide receivers. They got the same running back. They're on the same team. You just replace the quarterback in there. That's the way I rank them. And I don't think there's really much argument for that.
So you don't think Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are like some guys that should be up there with the same playing field? Would it equal?
I don't think they'd be above Tannehill. No, I don't.
I like that.
Now, Joe Burrow throws a pretty long ball, but how much of that is the wide receiver? What did he do last year we're talking about a level playing field? He don't have Chase over there running the routes that they ran back in college. You know what I'm saying? That's a quarterback wide receiver thing. He didn't put up those kind of numbers last year. Tom Brady has done that year in, year out. His whole career didn't matter if you knew who the wide receivers were, if you knew who the line was, if you knew who the running back, it didn't matter. You could plug anybody in there, and he almost led the league every year that he's been a quarterback. So that's why I put him at number 1. Aaron Rodgers, you can pretty much say the same thing about him at number 2. Doesn't really matter who the wide receiver was.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
We have to revisit that though.
We will. I just want to if you're talking QBR, by the way, I just want to point out Aaron Rodgers is actually higher than Tom Brady's. But I don't disagree with you on if you have all the same weapons. And honestly, I think the Brady, the Rodgers, the Mahomes are all interchangeable. I think those 3 are interchangeable at this point in what they do for a team and their careers. I think all 3 of those are, I think you can make a valid and legit argument for any of those guys to be ranked number 1 at this point.
Agreed.
And go up and down and people would agree with you and disagree. And I think it would be legit.
I agree.
So,
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. More calls coming up here in our 4:00 hour. We got one more segment before Greg Cosell hops on. So jump in 615-737-1045. If you are on hold, we'll get to you here at the top of the hour before we jump on with Greg Cosell. This is 3HL on 1045 The Zone.
That's how my car used to sound when I was little, people. That's not how your car sound, though. If you go to Music City Autoplex. Yeah, I'm a man of all kind of little sounds and things like that. So I just gave you, that was kind of like Herbie, the little bug, the little love bug. But if you go to 2430 Gallatin Pike North, you can go get something better than Herbie the Love Bug. You don't have to ride around with a car, maybe ride you around. You can drive the car actually. Or MusicCityAutoplex.com. Those are the people that I trust. Those are the people that I went to. Selection was huge. I mean, off the meter. I'm telling you. And that's a big deal right now because you got to imagine a lot of dealerships don't even have inventory. So when you pull up to them, they got cars slanted, parked in there, all kind of ways to make the lot look like it's full. No magician tricks pulled at Music City Autoplex. There are a lot of late model cars, low mileage cars also. One of the biggest selections in Middle Tennessee. And they sell more than anyone. Matter of fact, they sold me too. And I'm loving it. So you can love it also. You want to go get you a car, something reliable, where you'll be treated nice? Where you need to go? Music City Autoplex. Go get your car.
Brentwood Jewelry, they are your gifting experts. We all have gifting responsibilities throughout the course of the year. These guys are there to help you. 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Check them out online, BrentwoodJewelry.com. They are there for you no matter what you're looking for. And watches. I'm all into their watches, but you can go rings, pendants, necklaces, all kinds of things. Anything you can think of, they've got it. They've got a great custom design team as well, so you can check those guys out. But, again, back to the watches. Check out their shop for a pre-owned Rolex. They've got pre-owned Rolexes online, BrentwoodJewelry.com, but also, obviously, you can go check them out in the store for a fraction of the cost. Every watch has been meticulously serviced to ensure the highest level of performance and is presented with a 2-year warranty. They offer an extensive online selection and include both prior models and the current models for you to compare. Family owned and operated for more than 50 years, located in the heart of Brentwood, again, 7012 Church Street. Check them out online, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. That's Brentwood Jewelry.
Good afternoon. I am Joe Hunk, and news that broke just a little over 2 hours ago. The Houston Texans have fired David Culley. The Tennessee native was 4-13 on the year. The reason why this is kind of surprising, a couple of weeks ago, they said that he was going to remain the head coach. Just saying. The Indianapolis Colts may or may not be moving on from Carson Wentz. We're going to find that out in the coming weeks. But Colts general manager Chris Ballard had a press conference earlier today and would not fully commit on the quarterback, saying that he would like to find a quarterback that'll be around for the next 10 to 12 years and not just have a Band-Aid. And your Nashville Preds are on a 5-game winning streak, and they host the Buffalo Sabres tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Puck drops at 7 o'clock, and you can watch that on Bally Sports South. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for the #1 seed in the AFC. You know who that is? That'd be the Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome back in 3HL 104.5 The Zone here on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you are doing well. Maybe you're driving home from work. Maybe you work from home and you're listening on the laptop. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, we appreciate you. We're glad you're with us. Dawn Davenport here, getting to drive a little bit because Brent Doherty's still on IR. He is on vocal rest. We will get him back possibly tomorrow. Hopefully maybe Monday. I don't know. We'll see. Joe Hunk behind the glass, making it all work and happen. And Ron Slay.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
Love it.
You
We
know
need that
what,
energy
Babsy?
today. I feel like our energy's low right now. Keep it up.
You know what, Babs? It may be low.
Yeah,
But we're in the building, though.
You
Guess
know
what?
why?
Why?
You need to eat.
That's
Hunk
that's
is
what
in
it
there.
is.
Hunk just warmed his food up.
That
I
just
need you to
irritates me.
get, I don't know, some Chick-fil-A nuggets maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe some sweets and get things going. That's what it is.
Slay, what about this?
There you go, huh?
It's
Guess
like
what?
your Popeye, and that's your spinach.
Now, yeah, guess what? Now, let me tell y'all the only thing about that, though. I really can't turn all the way up because, see, I'm not in my boom boom room because for some reason, Wi-Fi cuts in and out up there in my boom boom room. So I'm in Chris's office. So the problem with that is she got a chair. And if I break her chair, it'll be a problem. It'll be a problem if she
Did
comes in.
she
and
warn
starts
you
dancing.
before you walked into her office? Hey, don't be messing with my chair.
Yeah, she's put me out of office a couple of times. When I was doing my Boom Boom Room podcast, like I got put out many a time. Many times because it get a little too rowdy. See, at the office, I don't worry about it because I saw it's 100 of chairs downstairs. So we can just break one of them and nobody cares. So
Oh my
replace it.
gosh.
yeah, so there, yeah. But you know what? Interesting news. Shout out to Gerard Mayo, UT Vol, former VFL.
That
up
was
for the
during,
league
didn't he
candidate.
play during Ramon's time?
Yeah, that was his linebacker. Yep. Him, and I hope I don't get this wrong. Inky, Gerard Mayo, and I think one more person. We're all pretty tight, but all of them was a tight unit. All of them still on text thread for days and nights and weeks and whatever. But he's one of the closest guys. Like I think Mayo was in Ramon wedding with us and everything. So he was one of the groomsmen. So that's his guy.
Well, his name has come up.
Yeah, he's
for the
emerged. He's emerged as a leading candidate for the
Texans.
Texans job. Yeah, so salute to Mayo, man. I know last year when there was openings for defensive coordinators, people were throwing his name up, and then also when before Hyper was hired, people were throwing his name up. And I think Gerard Mayo did go on with Ramon and those guys and said he wanted to get an NFL head job. So
Okay.
that was pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah, yep. Salute to him.
Do you think that he wants the Houston Texans head job?
I think you know what, Babs.
I know.
Man, at some point you always got to get your feet wet, and you can't be picky, because a lot of times too, if you are picky, your time will pass by.
You're right. You're
So,
right.
I
Hey,
mean-
ask David Culley, right?
Hello, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, we're having the quarterback conversation, and ESPN put out an article and ranked all 14 of the quarterbacks using QBR and a bunch of other stuff. Seth Walder, their analytics guy over at ESPN, is the one who did it. Ryan Tannehill is ranked 9th out of 14, and we want to get your take on it. We've got Greg Cosell of NFL Films and NFL Matchup. He's coming up here in about 10-15 minutes. So before that, let's go ahead and run through some of these calls. Let's go to Manchester. Hunter in Manchester. Hey, Hunter.
What up, Hunter?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Okay, my question is, why is the topic on Matthew Stafford and not Dak Prescott?
Oh no, no, Hunter. I hit that first. We just cruised past it. So we said it was two that we were disturbed by, and that was Dak Prescott at 7 and Matthew Stafford at 8. So I kind of took took Dak Prescott's. I
got Stafford at 4, and I actually got Tannehill at 5. I respect Tannehill; he's good, but Stafford's got. You got to think he's got 1,000 more yards than Tannehill. He's got almost double the touchdowns with only 40 more attempts than he does.
He also but my issue is how good he was early in the season and how bad they were after that, and the interception part of it. Like, he leads the league in interceptions. That's my issue with it.
Right. And then also Hunter, it is Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
yes,
Hunter,
sir.
I think no, you ain't got to do it. Yes, sir, man. I ain't that old.
Oh no, you can. I do it all the time.
But I think with Stafford, this is with all your weapons available. And I think, man, honestly, Stafford, he ain't lived up to the potential with all of, like, I know Odell came later, but Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, man, has been clowning. If you don't have all those turnovers, throwing the ball away like he was, the Rams don't struggle in not squeak into the playoffs, but kind of squeak into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, his numbers outside of the pocket aren't good. He doesn't do anything with his legs. I mean, you can like compare that. Did Hunk just say he's awful?
Yeah, we're still talking to him. Huh? Thanks, Hunk.
Yeah.
No.
So that's my take on that. But I think the overall conversation is the fact that Ryan Tannehill's 9th.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right.
If you want to pick
consensus,
Dak Prescott, yeah, big is one that you're like, wait a second, what in the world? If you want to say Matthew Stafford is one, wait a second, I don't think Tannehill should be behind him.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray was 6th. I think a lot of people probably put him there. Joe Burrow 5th. We had a caller earlier that said Joe Burrow shouldn't have been that high, or
George said he didn't. I think it was George. George said he didn't do this last year, and I think George forgot that he was towards ACL last year. So, and still,
he only played half the season, right?
Yeah, and still only had still had 2,600 yards. So, and was finding his grooves as a rookie. But
that's
I think
right.
the consensus of it though, Babs, like you were saying, is Tannehill is too low. I mean, from each caller, no matter who you put where, the consensus is Tannehill shouldn't be 9th. So I think that's good.
And you do look at if you're talking QBR, you look at his QBR for the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Well, I think the lowest was 106.8 or something. I mean, well over 100 for the last 3 games. And let's be honest, the last 2 of those, he had an offensive line that was fully intact and finally healthy.
Yeah.
And that certainly makes a big deal, even without Derrick Henry. So before we go to break, let's get this last caller in, Hunk, if he's still there. David, if that caller is still there. David, can you hear us? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Dave.
Good. Wild man Ron Slay. Nice
Hey, brother.
And Dawn, Babs, Davenport used to watch you early in the morning way back when. Oh, you remember.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that we don't get up that early anymore.
You know, I'm an old guy. I'm 67, been watching football a long time, and way before analytics were even a big part of it, or any of it. But it all gets back to the Titans don't get any respect. That's the way I feel today with that list. Now, I'm in my car. I haven't looked at it. But I do know that head-to-head, he beat some of those guys up ahead of him, did he not?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Without all his weapons.
Can you help me, Don, and tell me what? Okay, he beat Buffalo.
Yep.
We beat
Josh
Chiefs.
Allen. Beat Josh Allen, who is fourth.
Beat the Chiefs.
Beat Pat Mahomes, which is 1.
Yep.
Lost to
There's
Kyler
another one
Murray.
in there.
Kyler Murray, he lost to.
Oh, well,
early
he beat Stafford. We went out there and cleaned their clock in
Sure
L.A.
did. Sure did.
Yep.
And, it's just a no respect thing, which is fine because that's just the national media towards the Tennessee Titans. This year more than ever, because you don't get to be the number 2 seed if your quarterback sucks or
Yeah.
is 10th or 11th or 12th, Yeah. So I don't think it's fair the way they've judged him, because all of us here, we know what this team's had to go through and the 91 players they've used, and Ryan is if we had everybody, I still don't think they'd rate him that high, because it's just a perception that goes back to when he was at Miami. I think there's a bias there of what he was before he came here to Tennessee and took over for Marcus. So he's number 1 in my book. Now, Tom Brady's great, won all that. Aaron Rodgers is, in my opinion, ranks ahead of Brady. He just doesn't have the Super Bowls as far as talent goes.
Well, and exactly. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for calling. And you're right. And nobody's, trying to put Tannehill up there with those guys anyway. Like, all we're saying is there is a little bit of disrespect there. And the weakness under the Tannehill description, they talk about the sacks that he's taken. And I think that I have been extremely critical of Ryan Tannehill this season, and talking about his picks and decision making and that kind of is those kind of issues that I think we've seen from Ryan Tannehill. But a lot of that has to do with, that 91 number, which is what the Titans have played this year, and that offensive line not healthy. So I want to talk about, Saffold told us at the end of that Houston Texans game, he talked about how in the zone that offensive line was.
Yep.
We're going to talk to Greg Cosell, who sits there and watches the tape. We'll hear what he has to say about what the Titans put on film against the Houston Texans and what to watch for this weekend. That's coming up next on 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Oh, it's 2022. How crazy does that sound? It is 2022. Maybe that's your year of organization. That's my year of organization. Actually, I started last year right over the holidays because I couldn't fit all of my Christmas decorations back where I had them before. So my garage was a disaster. So I called Artisan Custom Closets, and they came out and they fixed it and they made it beautiful. I have all my neighbors walk by and say, "Oh my gosh, your garage looks amazing. How'd you do it?" And I tell them Artisan Custom Closets is who did it. Now, they can help you with your garage, but they can also give you a beautiful, exquisite, and functional office, or beautiful, exquisite, and functional custom closet, a new laundry room, a new pantry that's organized. You name it, Artisan Custom Closets can do it for you. And here's the deal. Lisa Carlquist is the owner, started Artisan Custom Closets in Marietta, Georgia, then brought it here to Nashville, Tennessee. So it's a local company and everything is made and manufactured right out of Marietta, Georgia, made in the USA. And right now they've got a special going on. This is only to the end of the month. So you need to jump on it now. If you're interested, 15% off whatever project you do, 15% off if you tell them Dawn sent you. Here's your number, 615-800-2199. That's 615-800-2199. ArtisanCustomClosets.com. That's ARTISAN customclosets.com. Tell them Dawn sent you for 15% off your closet, garage, laundry room, pantry, home office. They've got you covered.
The NFL playoffs are here. It's time to start winning with Tennessee's homegrown sportsbook, Action247.com, made by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Make your first deposit today. Get signed up today. Download the apps. Get the apps rolling in your phone, and it'll be easy. Are you tired of waiting on your sportsbook, waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action247. They are cutting out the middleman with more than 100 partner locations across Tennessee for cash deposits and cash withdrawals. Visit Action247.com for more details. Plus, new customers, you'll get your stuff rolling with Action247.com. Download the app or visit Action247.com to start winning big. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Welcome back in 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. Don Davenport alongside Ron Slade. Joe Hunk is behind the glass. Brent Doherty on IR. He will be back soon. But until then, we are just going to make do. And to help us do that, one of our favorite guests, Greg Cosell, executive producer and analyst for NFL Matchup, senior producer, NFL Films. Cosell, how is it going? This is an exciting time in the NFL. Not gonna lie.
Sure is. Dawn, Ron, great to be with you guys as always in my Thursday slot. And Titans are off this week, which is a good thing.
It's a real good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot put into words how big an extra week is to get healthy in this league, to sit back, make sure you get healthy. And especially for this Titans team that I feel like you've probably had to pay attention and look at more players than, well, I know you have, than any other team because of that revolving door injury wise that this Titans team has had. So finally, it seems like they're getting their key cogs back healthy at a perfect time. So
Yeah.
let's kind of start with that. When we look at that Texans game last weekend as a whole, especially offensively, that offensive line, again, another week with your starters and your guys together, what kind of a difference did you see from them up front in that game?
And Dawn, that's where you have to start. You have to start with the passing game because we know that they're going to run the ball and they're going to get Derrick Henry back and they'll run the ball well. But as we've discussed before, sometimes when you get to the playoffs, the run game doesn't quite work the same way as it does in the regular season. And they're very familiar with that because they have the Baltimore Raven playoff game from a year ago on their resume. So to me, the pass game was absolutely critical. And I think there's two things that must be executed well for the Titans offense to be effective in the playoffs. Number one, conventional play action. And by that, I mean with Tannehill under center, using the run game as the starting point and then the play action working off that. That must be effective. And the other thing, which has now been effective both in the 49ers game and in this game against the Texans, is third down passing. Because no matter how well you execute your offense, you will get to third and long in every game. Obviously, you prefer not to be in many, but you will get to those. And I thought that Tannehill was outstanding both on play action and he was outstanding on third down. And the key thing about third down is not just completions, but he was 7 for 10 for 134 yards and a TD on third down. But the important point is 6 of those 7 completions resulted in first down. So to me, it was the passing game that was really critical because we know what they are. They're going to run the ball.
You talk about the passing game. Anthony Ferkser stepped up
Yep.
big time in that game and in that area. What did you see from him? Because there's been some struggles for him. I mean, I think he had not met expectations this season. And I think last week we saw a little bit more from him.
Well, he had 2 big third down receptions, Dawn and Ron. He had one on the 94-yard second quarter touchdown drive on 3rd and 7. And then he had one later on 3rd and 6 on the 4th quarter touchdown drive. And both of those receptions came on seam balls versus cover 2. So very often that's where you attack because in cover 2, as they say in the business, the middle is open. So that's where a lot of quarterbacks attack. And both those receptions, as I said, third down receptions came versus cover 2. And essentially in cover 2, you're beating what we call the middle hole defender. It's the underneath defender who's playing the middle hole, middle seam. And it's Kirksey for the Texans. So, and the really important thing there is Tannehill, there's a timing involved in those throws because the last thing you want to do is be a beat late because then the safeties can squeeze and close. And Tannehill made 2 really good throws, strong timing and ball placement throws in the middle zone void. But that's where Ferkser made 2 really big catches. The touchdown he caught was a bust by the defense. It still counts, but it was a bust by the defense.
And you look at that.
That doesn't go on the stat sheet, right?
Right.
It count for it. That's a positive. Did you say about the third down? If this line is intact and moving and communicating the way they are, then that's what allows for the Houdini plays for Ryan Tannehill when he can break a tackle. When you don't have to do that 15 times in a game and you can do it once,
right?
And the percentage is it falls in your favor. And is that what we will get to see from Tannehill now, being able to be more creative?
And you're referring, I'm sure, to the Westbrook-Ikhine 36-yarder in the fourth quarter when it looked like he was sacked by Martin and he broke the pocket to the right and he hit Westbrook-Ikhine, in the deep outside void in cover 2. The thing is, those plays kind of happen naturally. You can't go into a game thinking, hey, we're going to make these kinds of plays, and that's the way we have to win. But those plays just come naturally, and obviously they're very demoralizing to a defense. Look, Tannehill does have the ability to save plays with his legs. We've seen that since he became the starter. So when the situation demands, and obviously you hope it doesn't demand very often, but when the situation demands, he does have that ability to save plays.
What stood out to you the most on tape in that play? I mean, obviously we all thought he was buried. Mike Keith made the call that he's buried.
Right.
What stood out to you the most when you went back and watched it on the tape and slowed it down?
Well, obviously I saw it live as well, so I knew that it happened. So when I saw it on the tape, it just surprised me even more because it really did look like he was buried, and then all of a sudden he appeared. And he actually made a very good throw as well. I mean, that was not just then a short little throw. He threw the ball down the field. And very often that happens. Normally when quarterbacks break the pocket on second reaction movement like that, very rarely do you see them throw checkdowns. Usually something breaks at the intermediate or deeper levels, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
So it's interesting, and I know you don't jump into these lists and hypotheticals and all this stuff. I know you don't, but just to set up this question, because I'm curious when you watch Tannehill on tape, like ESPN, the whole stats analytics department ranked all 14 of the playoff quarterbacks. Tannehill came in at 9.
What does that even mean?
Well,
no, I mean, it's a serious question. I'm not knocking. Look, Dawn, I've been doing this a long time. I know people love lists. Believe me, I get all that, but I don't know what that means ultimately.
Well, so yes, and I agree with you, but what they did is they took QBR, they took, quarterback rating, they evaluated efficiency with like completion percentage over expectation, all of this, right? And I know you're like, hey, just watch the tape.
Like, what is the definition of expectation? I don't even know what this is, I feel like I'm back in college and professors just keep saying, you got to keep asking why. I mean, I don't even know what this stuff means.
But all of this cracks me up because Cosell is like the most intelligent football mind ever, by the way. But so this is my question. When you watch Tannehill in his game as a whole,
right,
what stands out as a weakness? What is it about Tannehill's game that I guess people maybe discredit him or don't give him what I think the credit he deserves as a quarterback?
Well, here's the way I'll answer that, Dawn. He's in a specific kind of offense. So what a lot of people say about Tannehill, because I hear it, and there's no answer to this for sure, because I was not with him in Miami every day. I've talked to coaches who were, and I know what they've told me, but he's also more of a veteran player now. But he is in an offense that starts with the run. So play action is a critical piece of what he does. Defenses play a certain way because of Derrick Henry. So you very often get predictable fronts, predictable coverages, particularly in normal down and distance situations. So he can execute extremely well given all those parameters. And there are probably more that we just don't have time for right now. So the question with Tannehill becomes, what would Tannehill be in an offense where he had to be the driving force in a true drop back pass game on a regular basis? In some ways, we don't know the answer to that, Dawn. So people,
and we don't have to, right?
We don't have to at this point. Now, maybe we get into a game in the playoffs where, for whatever reason, all of a sudden the game's 20-0 and they can't run with Derrick Henry at all. Maybe they get into one of those games and all of a sudden Tannehill's got to be a drop back quarterback where the threat of the run game and the play action element is not relevant to that specific game. Now, if that happens, one game is certainly not enough to judge his whole career. If he doesn't play well, you can't say, aha, that proves it. Yeah. Because he's not being asked to do that on a regular basis. So, but that would be the debate about Ryan Tannehill and why some might say he's not a high level quarterback. Now, he's a good thrower of the football. To me, this is an unanswerable question right now because he's not in that offense. I mean, we're not going to say, obviously, we're not going to say he's Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to say that.
Right.
And he's certainly not as gifted physically as Josh Allen, who's the most physically gifted quarterback in football. So he's not that guy. But in the context of this offense, with what he's asked to do, for the most part, he's a very efficient player. Now, I don't think he had his best year this year relative to last year, by the way, and we've discussed that.
Right. Yeah. Right. But you walk away from it saying that this is the gift and the curse of what he's been blessed with, in a sense.
Correct.
You left Miami where you had to be the guy, but you didn't have the weapons. You come to the Titans where you got a really strong running game, and you can depend on that and lean on that, and that will carry you over the hump and then hit your weapons.
Right. And you guys don't have a professional baseball team, but it's like in baseball, when a guy who bats seventh on a team with a lot of good hitters hits 30 home runs and knocks in 90 runs. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then he's a free agent. So somebody signs him saying, hey, he had 30 homers and knocked in 90 runs. We are signing him to be our number 3 hitter. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't know if he could be your number 3 hitter because he hasn't really been asked to. Maybe he can be. Right. But, maybe when he gets to be the number 3 hitter, he doesn't do it. You don't really know the answer to those questions. So it becomes just pure speculation. It becomes expectation, whatever that means.
Efficiency over expectation, right. Whatever that means. So you mentioned a scenario, if they're down 20-0, obviously you look at where this Titans defense is right now. I thought in the Houston game, though, you saw a little bit of a lull from that defense, especially at the start of the second half. What did you see on the tape defensively at the start of the second half?
Yeah, Texans? I mean, obviously they came back, and I thought Davis Mills made some really good throws against zone coverage. That kid fascinates me. I know they fired David Culley today. I'm very curious to see who they hire and what the thought process is with Davis Mills. But obviously for the Titans, that's neither here nor there. But the point is, he made some
real quick on Mills. What did you think about him? Can he be a legit starting quarterback?
I think that his tape from this year suggests he can. I don't know if you guys know much about him. He came out of the Atlanta, Georgia area as the number 1 quarterback recruit in the country, committed early to Stanford. So the SEC schools stayed off of him because he committed early, only started 11 games at Stanford. I happen to know someone on the Stanford coaching staff well, and they were really excited to work with him this year and were very, very surprised he came out. But as you guys saw, and did he play twice against you guys this year or just once?
No, once. Taylor.
Right, that's what I thought. I forgot, but I'm sure from watching this game, you saw that he looks the part. He's a big kid. He's imposing. He in the pocket. He looks good. He has an easy delivery. The ball comes out. He's got a good arm. I would say has functional mobility. He's not a runner. He's not a scrambler, but he can use his legs effectively. I mean, you saw that on the 7-yard touchdown to Amendola in the fourth quarter where he moved left, kept his eyes up, saw the field. But in general, he's a pocket guy for the most part. And he made some really good throws against zone, specific concepts, what we call a dagger concept, which is a go from the inside and a dig from the outside. He has a good feel for playing quarterback. So he made some good throws against zone coverage. That does happen. And then the touchdown he threw to Amendola in the fourth quarter, that was a slot fade. Molden went out to play before, and Jackson was playing slot on that particular play. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that this game proves that there's weaknesses with their defense. Although I will say I don't think the pass rush was quite as dominant in this given game. And they're predominantly a 4 D-line pass rush team.
Let me ask you this real quick, Greg, before you leave us. I got to hit on it. 7 Pro Bowlers You got the MVP candidate. The Colts go down to Jacksonville. What did Jacksonville? Did they just hit Jacksonville? Just hit the Colts in the mouth? Or
I'm going to tell you honestly, because I don't make stuff up. Because that game is not relevant to my week because it's now playoff time.
Yeah.
I did not watch that tape.
Okay.
So I'm just being honest. You guys know me well enough to know that I don't make that stuff up.
Yeah.
So
I can accept that.
Just, I had so much to watch this week because they were a rematch. So not only did I have to watch tape of all the teams that are in the playoffs, but they were rematches. So I had to go back through the first times they played. So I just didn't get to the Colts Jaguars because they're not playing anymore this year.
And Greg, I couldn't blame you. Like the NFL wasn't even paying attention to it. I think they checked that box as the coach.
All I can tell you is we here at NFL Films were very unhappy because of Hard Knocks in season. We were hoping the Colts would be in the playoffs. So we haven't been real happy here at NFL Films since Sunday, but life does go on.
No doubt.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. On the way out, Greg Cosell, also the executive producer and analyst for NFL Matchup. You kind of mentioned it. And you guys are busy this week because you go through all 6 games. So yes. I guess big picture question for you. What's the most intriguing this weekend?
Well, I'm intrigued. Everybody, it's very personal for everybody. I'm fascinated by 2 games in particular. The 49ers at the Cowboys and the Eagles at the Bucks, because, I think everybody's going to assume that the Bucks are going to kill the Eagles, but that Eagles run game is really difficult to defend. Their gun run game, they put Hurts in the shotgun, the zone read element, the inside zone element to it, because they are big up front. I'm fascinated with the big boys up front with the Eagles, the Maiolatas, the Landon Dickersons versus, Vita Vea, the Ndamukong Suh. I mean, I think, I don't pick games, as you know, so I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I think the Eagles could upset them. I think it's going to be very intriguing. And then, of course, the Cowboys and the 49ers. The 49ers are a fascinating team right now. The most overlooked element, because everybody focuses on Jimmy G and Debo, rightly so, is their front 6. They're down 4, and Warner and Greenlaw, who came back this week, that is as good a front 6 over the last month. Greenlaw just came back, but I mean, that down group has played so well. They have been dominant.
Nice. I love it. Always love your time. Hey, this time next week, we'll be talking about whoever the Titans opponent is, and we can break down that matchup.
I know. I'm looking forward to that, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Our favorite, Greg Cosell, executive producer, NFL Matchup, senior producer, NFL Films. Always appreciate your time. Have a good week. Enjoy the games, Greg.
Okay. You too, guys. Thanks.
All right.
See ya. All right. We've got more coming up on 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Stick around. All right, wild card weekend. Oh, yes. Are you ready for it? We just talked to Greg Cosell about it. Cannot wait. And it just got wilder thanks to FanDuel Sportsbook. Hooking all you new customers out there up with 30-1 enhanced odds. So this is what it means. You can bet $5 and win $150 on any team to win any wild card game. I'm looking through it right now. Bengals, let's see, 4.5 point favorite over the Raiders. Maybe you want to go that one, or you heard Cosell talk about a fascinating matchup between the Eagles and the Bucks. The Bucks favored by 8.5. So maybe you want to jump in on that with your bet 5 to win $150 deal going on with FanDuel Sportsbook, 30-1 enhanced odds. No better place to bet the NFL playoffs than on America's #1 sportsbook. If you already have FanDuel Sportsbook, FanDuel is also hooking all customers up with $50 when you refer a friend. Plus, your friend will get $50 too. Download the app, Hop on it. It's easy to find your bet. It's safe to make your bet. And you can do live betting too. I love that while games are going on. If you feel a trend going on, download that FanDuel Sportsbook app, use promo code Dawn, and pick your wild card team before kickoff. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users. Fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. Welcome back in 3HL 1045 The Zone. Happy Thursday to you. I hope you enjoyed that segment with Greg Cosell, one of our favorites always. Who was it? Sunset Chaser 614 said, Greg makes everything so easy to understand. Yes, he does. He just simplifies it for you. Hey, I watched lots of tape. Here you go. This is what it means. This is what the Titans have to do to be successful. And let's go. Interesting to hear him talk about Mills, though, as a quarterback, right? And while it doesn't matter right now, obviously, Titans fans, you kind of look at that moving forward. Is that guy a legit starting quarterback in the league? Is he somebody that's going to cause you trouble twice a year? You look towards the future when you look at that guy and see, hey, did they happen to find something?
I think they did.
I
think they did, Babs.
I was impressed by him. I've been impressed by what he's been able to do with that roster, right?
Yep. And you listen to Coach Mack, how always pay attention to how he talks about players, especially these younger guys. And outside of Zach Wilson, he really talked highly about him. That was early in the season. But he said, man, Houston, man, they started allowing Davis Mills to spin it, and he can really spin it. So to get props from a guy like Coach Mack, man, you got to be able to do something. So I think they may have found one. They may have found a diamond in the rough with Davis Mills.
Yeah, interesting. And the background of him, basically, he didn't have a ton of SEC offers because he committed to Stanford early and said, that's where I want to go. Clearly,
right.
The education was important to him. And there you go. So the big news of the day, I guess, around the AFC South, David Culley was basically hired only to get fired 1 year later. I feel like it stinks because I feel like he was in a no-win situation from the get-go. They knew they weren't going to be successful. You knew you weren't going to see Deshaun Watson this year. You knew that was going to be a debacle. And you didn't want to put – I think Davis Mills was a surprise to them.
Mm-hmm. That was a little foolery involved in this one, Babs.
Yeah, and I you kind of feel for Culley that he was just put in a no-win situation with the Texans. So, although according to Tom Pelissero, the Texans owe David Culley another $17 million over the next 3 years per source. So, Culley with one season walks away with roughly $22 million. A $22 million payday for one season. I don't know if that one season with the Texans and that that debacle is worth it.
A heck of a Band-Aid right there.
Right.
$22 million. That's real. Hey, what just came out too, the GM for the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard, came out and spoke about Phillip Rivers retiring, and they made the decision to make a move on Carson at the time of the decision. They felt good about it, and they still don't regret the decision. But sitting here today, just so y'all know, I won't make a comment on who is going to be here next year and who is not going to be here next year. That's not fair to any player. So it was
not the dreaded vote of confidence.
No, he also went on to say, I'd like to quit band-aiding it. I like for Carson to be the long-term answer or find someone who will be here for the next 10 to 12 years. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. I can dream about it, wish about it, do everything I can to figure out the solution, but you do the best with what you can and do it at that time. So,
what that is? That is a spoiled GM who had freaking Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and doesn't realize the perils of trying to find that long-term quarterback. Yeah, isn't that what every single franchise is hoping and wishing and praying for? Every single one of them.
It don't really work that way. They are not a dime a dozen.
It's not that easy. Newsflash. Good luck.
Yeah, this ain't the running back position. Apparently.
All right, this wraps up our 4 o'clock hour. Let's take it home after the break. 5 o'clock hour of 3HL coming up next on Davenport, Ron Slade, Joe Hunt. Stick around.
Get it.
how your New Year's resolution's been going. Great. I refinanced with a home loan expert and got a mortgage rate in the twos.
All right, Loan Pronto. I want to talk to you about them. I know them. I utilize them to refi my home. I got a great rate. I got cash out of the equity in my home, which we all have here in this area, equity in your home. And one of the best things you can do for the new year is get cash out of that equity. It's super fast, super easy. No cost refi from Loan Pronto can help you do it. Call them now. They can fast track a home refi and get you a check for 50, 60, 70, maybe even 100 grand or more. If you call now, Loan Pronto could even pay your closing costs for you. Use it to pay off maybe some high interest credit cards for the new year that are costing you big time, or consolidate some other loans, pay off some, consolidate loans, get rid of PMI charges. Get those finances in great shape. What a great present for yourself in 2022. Loan Pronto's refi can close in 2 weeks, and the process is so easy. Go to loanpronto.com for more information. That's what I did to start the whole process. They have 1 million people working with them and for them. And so if you have any questions, you can always get a hold of somebody. And they were phenomenal because I had 5 million questions because I didn't know what I was doing. They were great. Loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780 is the number. Loanpronto.com at 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Good evening. I am Joe Hunk, and the Houston Texans have let go of David Culley after a 4-13 season where he's already made $5 million. The problem for the Texans is that they now owe him $17 million more on that is left in his contract. So he'll make about as much as Sean Watson will. Now, speaking of the AFC South, the Houston Texans are making moves, and so are the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe Chris Ballard earlier today said that hey, we don't really know what we are with Carson Wentz. We may be on the up and up. We may be on the down. Just really kind of depends. He basically said we don't want a Band-Aid at the quarterback position. We want somebody that's going to be here for the next 10 to 12 years. And in an utter shock, the AP poll has come out, the final one of the college football season, and it looks that, yes, Georgia is the number one team according to the AP poll. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for the number one team in the AFC. That would be your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome in for the 5 o'clock hour of 3HL on 104.5 The Zone. Don Davenport, along with Joe Hunk behind the glass, and Ronald Slade.
Let's go, people.
I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
Can I say this? We haven't had just like hardcore, organic, Ron Slade, no music. I'm in the building. Like, what started all of this? We haven't had that in a really long time.
We haven't, Babs. You know what? We haven't. It's time. Sometimes we just gotta go back to the original. You know what I mean? I'm in the building. I'm in the building. And then hit them like that. Let's get this thing started.
Oh, yes.
Hey, see? Yeah.
That's what I like. Hey, can I go back to something that Hunk said in his update?
What may that be?
Oh, the AP released their top 25, and Georgia is number one. Well, no Shiano, Sherlock.
Yeah, who else should be number one? That's the main question. Should it be someone else?
Why is that even an update?
Because it's just funny to me that the AP poll puts it out and they're like, poll alert, Georgia number one. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course they are number one. Like, there's not a question. They proved they're number one. That's why I had to put it on there, because it was just so funny because it's so obvious.
And let me guess, Alabama was number two, right?
Dawn, it's like you're reading my screen right now. It is so shocking.
Oh man, I guess some people are interested where everybody kind of falls into place with that, right?
You got to be.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing else going on. Concentrate on that.
So funny. All right, welcome in. We are glad you're here. The mayor is still on IR. I feel like I'm gonna have to join him with my knee because I'm old.
Babs.
No, I know. And I've actually heard from people who had a torn ACL and torn meniscus, but were still able to walk and like kind of be active. It would just like catch every now and then, which is exactly what mine does.
Yeah, that'll hurt you, Babs. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Them knees, listen, I always say it, man. I couldn't handle any injury. Just don't let it be knees, ankles, or back. Anything else, hey,
back
let me fight with
it. Back is the big backbreaker.
Yeah, that'll shut you down. I'm telling you. You'll be it's over with.
So about an hour ago, our good friend Buck Rising, by the way, you can always tweet him at Buck Rising to find out when Brent's coming off IR. But he tweeted that the city of Nashville will host Titans watch parties for the divisional round and the AFC championship games on Broadway and Walk of Fame Park there. Very similar to something that I think really helped to put this city on the map back in 2017, which was that Stanley Cup Preds run.
Yeah.
Where we filled the streets of Nashville with Preds fans, and they had live concerts on the top of honky tonks, and it was unbelievable. That was a big reason I think we got the NFL draft here in Nashville too.
Yeah. There was it took all skepticism away. Would this city come out and support anything that is held here? And man, they came out in droves. This event, I'm telling you, hopefully I'm at the game, but if I'm not, I'm gonna go on downtown for a little second. I'm gonna be real because I want to see it, man. I missed the NFL draft, didn't get to see that. Really didn't want to be down there and all that traffic and getting there. But this right here, this is a tad bit different. This is for the city. I mean, like really for the city to support the team. Man, it's gonna be a time. I know it's gonna be a great time down there.
It's gonna be really fun.
You know what? Nashville ain't gonna have no roof, Babs. They can take the roof off Nashville.
That's right. Yes. Nashville ain't got no roof. Oh, maybe we can go B&A.
Yeah.
B&A ain't got no roof. Yeah.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about, Babs. You can remix on that.
I'm getting creative. Oh yeah. So creative. So obviously a big weekend in the NFL with 6 playoff games going on. And the Titans will get to hang out at home and just rest and watch. What Titans fans, what are you watching this weekend? Like, what is the most intriguing matchup for you? Do you only watch AFC games? Do you only watch possible Titans opponents, or will you watch all of the games? And we're going to know Sunday night because AFC concludes Sunday night. So we will know Sunday night who the Titans will face. I'm just curious, 615-737-1045. What are you watching? What's one of the more intriguing matchups this weekend? And what interests you? I will try and just sit and watch all of them. Because it's funny when you work in football, in college football specifically, you don't very often get to just sit on a weekend and watch nothing but football. So this is one of my few weekends where I can just sit and watch football. So I will watch all of it.
You know what, Babs? I'm gonna watch all of the games as well, but I'm gonna pay close attention to that Steelers Chiefs, because I think, like, who was it? Cosell that said it's going to be closer than expected, or I forgot who it was that said
it. Wasn't Cosell.
It wasn't Cosell. It was somebody. I forgot. But
yeah, because Cosell was on the Bucks Eagles.
Yeah, that's what he was on. Yep, he was on the Bucks, Eagles, and 49ers and Cowboys
matchup. Yeah.
But I'm paying close attention to the AFC, man. I think that Pats Bills games, I think we should probably get one of them, and if it's the Pats, that's who I'm hoping that this for. I want to see them down here in Nashville in this playoff element on our ground and watch this defense that's coming full strength and this offense coming full strength and see what all the hush is about then. Then I think, man, the Titans going to come out, smack them in the mouth. And I think they're going to, like, you look at it and you say sometimes, man, you get a lull after a bye week. But we know with Vrabel's record and what he does with a bye week. But then you add on, like we were talking about with Coach Mack, the energy that's going to be in there. And the Titans really want, like, they carrying all that momentum in from the regular season from being ignored. And the spotlight, honestly, is going to be on Nashville. And New England can only heighten it and then put the boom of Derrick Henry in there. Ooh, it's going to be funky. It's going to get good and funky. I'm telling you, I can't wait, man. So that's who I'm pulling for. I want the Pats to beat the Bills because, honestly, when you take, like, we're going to talk about a little later, who we don't want to see, like who scares you a little bit, Cincinnati and the Bills for me.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are a popular pick from Titans fans, as just because of what Joe Burrow is doing right now and how they're clicking. I think that's kind of a popular pick as the 4 seed of somebody, maybe. And honestly, though, I look at the Pats and they don't make me nervous if I'm a Titans fan. Like, I don't look at Mac Jones and what they do as something to be concerned about when the Titans come in, full strength. And honestly, there's not a whole lot of teams, I think, that cause concern when the Titans are at full strength and completely healthy, which is what you expect them to be, after a bye week here.
Totally. Totally
you never
get that.
know. But
Mhm.
so let's go. I'm just going to go through all the games and hit you with the lines, and then we'll take a break. If you want to jump in and tell us what you're watching this weekend, what you're interested in, 615-737-1045. As a Titans fan, which is the game that has your attention this weekend?
Mhm.
Or do you treat this weekend as, hey, I better go ahead and spend time with my family because we got a Super Bowl run here. If I'm a Titans fan, that I'm going to be locked into moving forward for the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? We'll hit those numbers on the other side.
Okay, cool.
It's we'll hit those lines and the 12.5, which is the biggest line of the weekend. And what do you expect when Big Ben's like, yeah, we're by far the worst team in the playoffs.
Come on, just setting it up.
You know what though? Watch out now. Watch out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all a setup, man. And he's playing into it. And
he's playing right into it, like the veteran he is. Unfortunately, I think he's a shell of, there's a reason this is his last year. He's a shell of what he used to be. And
so is that offensive line, too.
Yeah.
And the play calling.
So was Peyton Manning when he won the Super Bowl.
Hey.
This is true, Hunk.
You're not totally wrong, Hunk.
No, you're not.
All right, we'll hit those lines. We'll talk about some of the matchups for this weekend. And what are you watching? 615-737-1045. This is 3HL on 1045 The Zone.
Yo, people, listen here, man. I'm telling you right now, State Farm. Yeah. DeJuan Buford State Farm. That's who you got to lock in with. I'm going to tell you how he reeled me in. Listen, we went out there, and this is how this relationship cultivated, because that's what it is now. This is family. They welcome me in, State Farm Insurance, Buford. They welcome me in, and it's been a family ever since. But this is how he got me. Y'all know I love wings. Y'all know how I love wings. Man, don't y'all know, man, this man, we came out for remote at DeJuan Buford State Farm at his spot, at his place. And man, this man had a grill going. It had some wings on there, and had been smoking them. Come on, man. Y'all know that's gonna make me be quiet. I ain't gonna be quiet right now though, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. I tasted one of them wings. Show went well. Treated us like family. Took care of us. Then you know what I said? I started thinking after we left. Man, I'm with this insurance agency, man, and I've been with them for a while, and the price ain't decreased. I can't get them on the line. Let me call DeJuan and see exactly what he got going on. DeJuan hit me up, talked to him. He said, man, give me a couple of minutes. Right back. One of his people reached out to me and got me on the line, man, and got me off that insurance plan, got me on something to save me some money. Woo! And I've been loving it ever since. 615-371-1234. Get your surprisingly great rates today. Messing with my people, man. DeJuan Buford State Farm, and you can get some wings too.
All right. Maybe getting more snow this weekend. I know. Maybe your carpets are already a disaster and you need to go ahead and schedule to get them cleaned. I feel your pain with 4 dogs and lots of mud and lots of rain, and they're tracking all that junk in on my carpets. Zero Res is who I call. Zero Res cleans with powered water. So what they do I was curious about this. They alter the pH of water so that they don't have to use soap. So they can clean with just powered water. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals. That means it is safe for all of your little loved ones. And let's be honest, joy is a freshly cleaned home. There is nothing like brand new looking clean carpet. Zero Res can help you do that. And right now, this is through the month of January. So here you go. As long as you schedule your cleaning through the month of January, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned and a free hallway for $109. That's it. You just have to tell them Dawn sent you, and Zero Res will take care of you. They're also offering 15% off of air duct cleaning. Some restrictions apply. Here's your phone number, 615-535-9376. 535-9376. You can also book online, zeroresnashville.com. That's Zero Res. You can spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Don't forget to ask about that air duct cleaning. Welcome back in 3HL 1045 The Zone. Happy Thursday to you. It's going to snow again this weekend, Slay. Like, some models are saying hardcore snow again here in Nashville, Middle Tennessee, all across our area. What in the world?
Well, we've been waiting on the Babs. You said to everybody that's not from here, if you think this is what we're seeing in December and this is winter, you got a rude awakening coming. And guess what? A rude awakening has arrived. So it's going down. You better go get you some salt.
Is it bad that I wish the Titans played this weekend to be playing in the snow?
Yes, that's terrible. Although
we both should hug now.
I was gonna say we're like, no, hug, come on. But then again, they're let's be honest, their offense with Derrick Henry back is made to dominate in the snow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking of the snowballs that you could throw.
No.
See, you trying to be a kid, Honk. We trying to go win, man.
No, it's a celebration. Whenever Derrick scores his first touchdown, everybody picks up the snow and throws it in the air.
Winter is here. Here's Derrick Henry. I mean, that would be the memes that would go with it would be pretty sweet. But hey, so Kyle Brandt on NFL Network, he's one of our favorites. Good Morning Football is such a good show. He does a phenomenal job. But Sean Caldron tweeted this and said, Kyle Brandt had the perfect description of King Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Derrick Henry is what happens when perfect genetics meets perfect work ethic.
Wow. That's okay. So in layman terms, that's to get even more simple. That's Popeye when he meets his spinach. That's He-Man when he lifts his sword and calls on the Castle of Grayskull.
Slay when he hears this.
Yes.
That's
That
right.
is all of that. Yes, 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 and yes. So that was great. Like, we have to wait another week, obviously, to see Derrick Henry. So we're asking you what you were watching this weekend, this wild card weekend. 615-737-1045. We've got a bunch of you on the line. We'll get to you in a second. Let me run through the lines, the spreads on all of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So starting Saturday, 3:30 Central, Raiders, Bengals favored by 4.5.
Yep.
Pats, Bills, Saturday night, 7:15 Saturday night. Pats, Bills, and that's Bills favored by 4.
Oh, Babs, that Raiders and Bengals game, they came down for a whole point. It was at 5.5 yesterday.
Yeah, it started 5.5. You're right.
Yep.
I'll have to look at it. Eagles, Bucks favored by 8.5 now.
Okay.
Yep, that is the Sunday noon game. And then Sunday, 3:30, Niners, Cowboys. And the Cowboys are favored by 3?
Yeah. Yep.
Steelers, Chiefs. This is the largest spread in all of the playoffs, and it's not even close.
Right.
Steelers, Chiefs favored by 12.5.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is there
a lot of points?
any way the Steelers can pick off the Chiefs?
Man, you never say never, because of a defense, for one, defense wins championships and defenses can win games. Offenses can win games. Like, everybody can get hot. But, man, if this defense can go up there and score.
If TJ Watt can get hot, right? Because we saw it at the beginning of the year where the Chiefs struggled.
And they've been able to hold teams this year defensively. It's just the offense that starts sputtering and puttering and sputtering. But, man, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity.
I'm
gonna be honest.
If
I'm
you
gonna
can
take
force
that
some turnovers, are you gonna take that at 12.5?
Yeah, I'm taking that 12.5. Just because I think they won't win by more than 10 if they do. Like, I mean, come on, now. It's the playoffs.
Interesting. It is, but still, it's Big Ben, and I mean, there's a reason he knows this is his last year. But hey, maybe he has one more in him, right? I mean, he's talking, we're by far the worst team in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's talking them down. Oh, yeah, you don't even have to worry about us. We're terrible.
Yeah.
We're
you know what, Babs?
even be here.
At the end of it, man, like, I think Mike Tomlin is going in this with his hair down, and it's like, man, we playing with house money. We ain't even supposed to be here. Because if you look at it at the end of that game, if you follow them on social media, Mike Tomlin, who never gets in social media videos, was with his players dancing in the social media video, like after that Baltimore win. So I think that shows a lot, man. They're gonna be so loose. Ben, you ain't got nothing to lose. Now on the other side of that, like you said, Ben can go out there and throw 4 picks too. So
yeah.
I mean,
like you're gonna have to force the Chiefs into at least 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
Your defense, Watt's gonna have to go. I mean, there's a lot of things that are gonna have to happen, and Big Ben has to not turn the ball over, and then maybe that can happen. There's a stat right now: Steelers 8-0-1 when they allow fewer than 24 points this season. Can you keep Mahomes off the board, and maybe you have a chance? I don't know. I don't think you can.
Does run well. I just don't believe in that offensive line with the Steelers either, though. So.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. Your brother's not on it anymore.
Correct.
All right, last one, the Monday night game, which Titans will know who they play after that Sunday night Steelers Chiefs game. So that'll be done. Titans will know on Sunday who they get. The Monday night game, 7:15 Central, Arizona Cardinals, LA Rams, and the Rams are favored by 3.5 in that one. That's going to be a fun one, I think. Over under 49.5. So there's all your spreads. There's all your games. What are you watching? Let us know. Let's check in with cousin Joey first about the wild card weekend. Hey, Joey, how's it going?
It's good, fam. So, I'm going to listen to everything because I'm just a football junkie like that. But I'm going to especially pay attention to the Bengals-Raiders game because we haven't seen them in a few years. And I know, throughout the season, things change with teams and everything. But like I said, we haven't seen them. So we, don't know really how physical and what kind of, or not style, but how much physicality and stuff they bring. So that's going to be, really the game that I'm going to focus in on this weekend.
I like that. Who would you rather see, cousin Joey? Who would you rather see out of that matchup? Like if you had to pick one of the teams for the Titans to play in the next round, who would you rather see? Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think I'd have to go with the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you hit Carr quite a few times. You kind of you'll be able to bring his eyes down if you hit him. Just hitting him, he'll bring his eyes down. He'll start seeing ghosts. Making bad plays, almost like he did in the Chargers game. When they were hitting him a little bit. You seen his eyes starting to creep down. He's kind of seeing ghosts, rushing his throw and getting happy feet. So I think if you can do that, if we see the Raiders. And with our defense, I think they can, shake him enough to really do what we need to do.
Yep. Exactly. Carr with 14 interceptions on the season. So yeah, there's a tendency you can kind of play into there. Thanks, Joey. Good stuff. Enjoy the weekend of football. All right, let's jump in. Tony the Stud on the line. What up, Tony?
Tony, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing today?
Good. Right. What are you paying attention to?
Man, I kind of tailing right off a guy there, Joey. I think the most interesting matchup if you're a Titans fan is going to be the Cincinnati and Raiders game. I don't want to see Cincinnati here in Nashville. I'll tell you why. And I know cousin Danny at the Burrow is hyped for Cincinnati this year because Joe Burrow is out there slinging to nearly 3,000. I'm sorry, he's got 4,600 yards and he has 3 separate 1,000-yard receivers nearly. If Boyd's 140 yards short, he's got 860. You got Jamar Chase out there, he's got over 1,000. You got T. Higgins, he's got over 1,000. And when that offense is clicking for Cincinnati, I really don't think that anybody really does want to see Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Outside of that, New England and Buffalo is an interesting matchup. Just because if New England ends up winning in Buffalo, then we wouldn't have to see Cincinnati if they beat the Raiders. We would then, in fact, be seeing New England again for a rematch. Which, if you guys remember, New England kind of took us to the woodshed during that game. So it'll be really interesting to see the Titans healthy. I think the most interesting thing is that the Titans are off this weekend, and all of us across Middle Tennessee and Nashville can sit peacefully and know that we're not losing this weekend, and we'll be back next weekend. See y'all.
No doubt. Enjoy the week, especially with all the snow. When is that supposed to come in? Like Saturday?
I think it's Saturday
evening, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
So for everyone listening, so you understand what's going on. Talking about what we're going to be watching and teams that we may not or may want to see in the playoffs. the seeding goes as such. Kansas City is a 2 seed, Pittsburgh is a 7, New England and Buffalo is a 6 and a 3 seed. Las Vegas is a 5 seed, and the Bengals are a 4 seed. So we automatically, regardless of what's going on, we see the lowest seed. So if it could be whatever happens, we like if Pittsburgh wins, we automatically see Pittsburgh. So we're going to see the lowest seed, and I would assume Kansas City handles business. Like Tony said, like we've been saying, the 6 or that Cincinnati Bengals and Las Vegas game would probably be the one.
See, I'm all in on the Pats Bills on the rematch.
I'm with you. You.
I'm that's what I want to see.
Give you somebody you've seen, huh?
I want to see, well, because it's going to be a very different game than the last time they saw each other, right? Where weather was such a huge factor in that one. I mean, weather obviously still going to be a factor. By the way, so Dawson Knox is one of our local guys. So love me some Dawson Knox. So I pay attention to, his press conferences and all of that. So he addressed the, I guess, rumor or report going around that Viagra can. You heard this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently do you even know where this started?
I heard it on I want to say Jamon Ramon's show, or it may have been Buck show, somebody's show, where I forgot where it started, but they said
I guess Bart Scott or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to
recommended that the players take Viagra because it'll keep you warm.
Yeah.
Basically. And I'm like, first of all, they live in Buffalo and New England. Like they're well versed in these kind of temperatures, right?
Guaranteed.
So Dawson Knox said his all-time response by Knox, right? I love
it. Was Bart Scott too, Babs. Good job.
It was Bart Scott. Okay, yeah. So Knox said that he heard Viagra could actually make a player test positive for PEDs. Oh. So he was like, nope, we're not gonna head down that direction or whatever. And then he also said, you do realize you have to have a prescription for Viagra, and he was like, I just want it known that I don't have a prescription for Viagra. That's basically what he said. I'm like, you tell him, Dawson.
Yeah. So in other words, be cool, Bart Scott. Like, listen, man, we all right, bro.
Oh, I'm like, this is where we are. Can we get to football? Let's go. Let's get there. But anyway, all of that to say, that's the game that I think has my attention the most. I'm just curious to see how it plays out. And, I mean, can Bill Belichick kind of pull one out of like he does? And, and what happens with that one under, a little bit different weather conditions, because that last matchup, it was wind. We talk about cold temperatures and snow or persistent precipitation, whatever. The wind is what affected that.
Without question. Yep. Without question.
Anyway, if you want to jump in on the conversation, 615-737-1045. We wrap up our 5 o'clock hour on this Thursday. Coming up next.
What up, people? You know who it is, man. It's me, Ron Slay, here to let you know about where you need to get some really, really, really good food. Some really good food. Steve, I count the wings. That's where I go. 2521 Nolensville Pike, right off 440. That's one location. Or you can go to the other location, 123 Ewing Drive. That's the original Princess location. Go there. The food going to be exactly the same. It's just a different establishment, but food exactly the same, people. You know it's real serious when I'm here talking about wings, and you can catch all your NFL games with NFL Sunday Ticket also with Strikeout Wings. So don't slack. And on Tuesdays, 69-cent wings. You can hit that up too. And what you need to know, this is a new addition. Kool-Aid Rita at the Kool-Aid Rita at the Nolensville location. I'm telling you, so good that you can get your Kool-Aid, or you can have a hard decision to make. You're gonna get the Kool-Aid Rita. Toss that back, couple shots of that, woo! You'll be on fire just like the wings. You hear me? But what you need to do to get all this, go to Strike Out Wings. What up, people? I'm right back at you. Ron Slay here. And I got cut off a little bit earlier. The reason being because the story's so long. The story's so long. DeJuan Buford pulled me in there with them wings. Then I called him when I left, and we had the whole hookup going down. I changed my insurance people right away, and I've been happy ever since, man. DeJuan Buford and his team at DeJuan Buford State Farm Insurance is the right choice. Why? Because you may be listening to 3HL every day between 3 and 6. And you know what happens? Sometimes Hunk go a little off the rails and he start playing. Car ain't got no roof. And you might blow your roof off. When you do that, what you gonna do then? You can call DeJuan Buford and he'll put your roof back on. You hear me? That's my guy, man. He's gonna educate you and treat you like a member of his own family. I can tell you this because I've been going through it with him. That's what I'm telling you. I switched over and I'm telling you, a big old smile on my face, just like when I had them wings that he got. We'll get to that later, though. Please call today at 615-371-1234. Listen how easy that number is. 615-371-1234. Get your surprisingly great rates today. I'm telling you, I stamped it. You need to get with it. DeJuan Buford, State Farm Insurance. Welcome back into 3HL, people. Thank you for hanging with us today, man. It is me, Ron Slade, Don Davenport, Joe Hunk behind the glass. I know you done had a fun-filled day, but listen, I got to hit you with something real quick. Now, the NBA All-Star voting is taking place, and we got to get one of our own, Nashville's own, Darius Garland into the game. Votes count for 50%. 50% from the fans, people. So listen to me. Get out there and vote the way you can do it. You can go on the NBA app. You can do that, or you can go on NBA.com. Vote.nba.com undefined. Do the voting that way. Or if you're on Twitter, all you got to do is hashtag Darius Garland and his Twitter handle if you want to add that. Tweet it out, and retweets do count. Today, people, doubled the vote. Thursday, January 13th, the votes double. So 1 vote counts for 2. Do that. Get our own in there. People, we had a phenomenal show today. Babs, what you thinking? Great show?
Yeah, great show. Good participation. Appreciate everybody jumping on with us. Lady Vols tonight.
Lady Vols tonight take over Vandy. They go invade Memorial Gymnasium to go get a dub.
There you go. There you go. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. We got some callers on the line. Why don't we wrap up the show and just kind of go rapid fire?
Let's do it
with everybody. All right. Oh, let's start with Cornbread.
My man, Cornbread.
Talk to me.
Hey, Slay, I'm just going to tell you right now, man, it don't matter who comes to town next weekend. Coach Vrabel going to get out the crock pot. He going to roast some butt. When the game is over, his name going to get changed from Coach Vrabel to Chef Vrabel, and you can follow him on Instagram for more recipes. Out.
I love it. Drops Mike. Yeah. Huh. Give him a little car. Ain't got no roof, huh? He got to get something for that.
There you go.
Car ain't got no roof.
Cornbread ain't got no roof.
At all. I love it.
John in Hendersonville, you're up next. What you got, John?
Everybody thinks that the Steelers are going to lay down. We shouldn't get off the plane. We shouldn't even get on the plane. But come Monday, everybody's going to be saying, I didn't see that coming. Watch what I say. We'll be here in Nashville next week.
I like it.
Okay. Hey, if you're a Titans fan, you would love that. Come on over.
Man, they time for him to come over.
Yeah. I mean, what has to happen? What did we determine has to happen for the Steelers to upset the Chiefs? The Chiefs have to turn the ball over.
Yes.
They have to get to the quarterback, which is possible. Teams have done it this year. It's possible.
Yeah. This is really true.
Especially when you have Watt.
Facts. That's facts. And they got to go score with the turnover, though. Like, the defense has to score with either the defense or special teams. One of them have to score. So
I agree. It's one of those matchups where, and I'm not going to say you have to get a little lucky, but you got to have like a trick play or a defensive score or something that way where the ball bounces your way and it allows you to put points on the board. That's what the Steelers have to have happen. And you got to hope that Mahomes or Kansas City makes mistakes when it comes to ball security. I mean, it's the NFL. You play the game for a reason.
Yes.
I know it's 12 and a half, but you never know. Never
Spot
know.
On,
but yeah, hey, Titans fan would be all about that.
Yeah, without question.
Get rid of the Chiefs for us. Thank you.
Appreciate
Why,
that.
Thank you. That
a
was
little
very
bonus
sweet
for
of
you.
Yes. We'll send you some Goo Goo clusters or something, Pittsburgh. That's headed your way.
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with Brock to wrap up the show. Brock is in Brentwood. Hey, Brock.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call and fitting me in here.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Ron, I think you're right about the Patriots. They're going to beat Buffalo, but we're not going to see them next week. We're going to see them in the AFC Championship game. And I think the Raiders, we're going to see them the first week. Burrow got hurt in the last of their game, and no one's talking about it. I was wondering if you guys had heard anything, but he took a shot to his other knee, and they had to send in a backup quarterback just to spike the ball to kick the field goal they were trying to kick. So no one said anything, and if Burrow can't move around, I see the Raiders bull rushing him, and we're going to host the Raiders. Thanks for the call.
Good stuff there. So I remember Rappaport reported about the Burrow knee and said he knew that he would have to like kneel on a bad knee, and that's why he didn't want to, like, his coach was like, yeah, just come out of the game kind of thing. So they're playing it that it's not a big deal. It's fine. But he told his coach that he can go back. He could go back in the game. They just said no.
There was the latest injury report that just came out today for the Bengals and the Raiders. Joe Burrow was a full participant today in practice.
Yeah. So.
Hey. Yeah. I didn't think he's not going to. This is a tough cookie too. He's not going to miss his. I'm going to be real. So, yeah.
Yeah. Full participant there. So we'll see. We'll watch, I guess, tomorrow and see how he looks in the game. So good stuff. Hey, good show today. Definitely enjoyed it. Tomorrow, by the way, I have a bunch of people asking why we're on Zoom because we were close contacted to somebody who tested positive. So we are good. But
we are.
Our company is very safe and wants to make sure that everybody stays healthy. So we get to Zoom today and tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday and see you all then.
Yeah.
Or I guess see you back in the station then.
And listen, people, you can tweet and retweet. I'm gonna get it correct for you. Darius Garland, hashtag Darius Garland, then hashtag NBA All-Star. Or you can just go retweet me and that counts as your vote. So get out there and support Cash Leo.
There you go. Yeah, support our own. Hey, real quick, just some other news. Former Titans coach and then former Titans secondary coach, Kerry Coombs, who was with Vrabel on his staff and then left and went to Ohio State as the DC and then was kind of demoted. So it's not really a surprise, but he is no longer with Ohio State. The news coming out today that he was relieved of his duties. And obviously I think they relieved him of play calling duties in the middle of the season. So not sure it was a surprise, but he was always my favorite. Watching him at practices, at Titans practices, energetic, enthusiastic, like so much fun, so much attention to detail, running around like he was 20 years old. I mean, he is awesome. So good luck to Kerry Coombs, and hopefully he'll land on a staff somewhere else.
No question.
Young men. All right, that wraps up this Thursday edition of 3HL. We love you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.
We go.
See ya.